Hello everyone! Welcome to Lesson 2 of Caregiver University. Throughout this lesson, we'll talk about transfers. There are 4 steps to what I like to call the perfect transfer. The first is plan. The second is communicate. The third is get in position. And the fourth is transfer. The first step of a safe and efficient transfer is creating a plan. In order to create your plan, you need to ask yourself a few questions. First, you need to know, where is the consumer starting? And where do they need to end up? Are they starting in the wheelchair, in the bed? And are they going to another surface that's right next to them, or is it farther away? It's important to know the start and ending points so that you can create a visual, like a map, of where you're going to need to go. It's also important to ask yourself if there are any obstacles or safety hazards in the path that you need to travel. If there are, you need to move these out of the way before beginning. That way you won't have any trouble while transferring. It's also important to notice if there's adequate lighting. You need to be able to see where you're going and make sure that you're not going to trip. Which brings me to the next question. Are you wearing safe footwear? You need to be wearing shoes with a back, and preferably ones that are slip-proof. You want to make sure that you have the most stable base before ever moving a consumer. Finally, it's important to ask yourself some questions about the consumer. Are they able to help you at all? Do they have any injuries or wounds? And if they do, where are they located? It's also important to know if the consumer has any movement restrictions. Knowing the location of any injuries or wounds and any movement restrictions will allow you to position the consumer in the most comfortable and safe way during the transfer. You don't want to accidentally cause more injury or pain. The second step for the perfect transfer is communicate. In this step, you clearly explain your plan for the transfer to the consumer and anyone else that may be assisting you. It's important to communicate what your role will be, the consumers, and anyone that's assisting so that everyone knows what their responsibilities are. Communicating beforehand eliminates any surprises during the transfer and can make things run a lot more smoothly. The third step is get in position. You'll start by positioning the consumer. It's important that the consumer remains comfortable, stable, and safe throughout the transfer. Before beginning the transfer, you must always apply the gait belt. This goes around the waist and provides an area for you to grab or hold on to. Having a gait belt eliminates any accidental pulling of the skin or clothing of the consumer during the transfer. Finally, you should instruct the consumer to cross their arms over their chest. This will make sure that they're not trying to grab onto you or anything during the transfer, and make sure that they don't hurt themselves. Next, you'll begin to position yourself. You will use the good body mechanics that we discussed in Lesson 1. It's important that you have a low center of gravity by bending your knees and hips, a wide base of support by keeping your feet shoulder width apart or staggered with one foot in front of the other, and maintaining proper body alignment. So making sure that your head, shoulders, back, hips, knees, and ankles stay in alignment and aren't going to become twisted or leaning and cause you injury. The fourth and final step is completing the transfer. You should always begin on the count of 3 so that everyone knows when you're starting. It's also important to tighten your abdominal muscles before and during the transfer. This can help you to keep your back straight. Finally, You always want to use the power of your legs while lifting a consumer. You do this by straightening your legs from the squatting position as you're going to transfer, instead of just lifting with your arms and back. This can prevent injury to the back and makes the transfer easier on your body. This is the completion of Lesson 2. Please move on to the next slide and answer the questions on the quiz.